Internet communities are usually quite varied, and it is normal that they have both positive and negative aspects. But what happens when all the negatives are contained in one place? This is what happens in the official Skullgirls mobile Discord server, a place plagued by controversy, harassment, unnecessary sexualization, senseless sanctions and many other things. However, today we are going to talk about the root of many of these problems, the moderation team. In this video I and many other members of the community, both English and Spanish speaking, will be exposing many of the injustices that happen on a daily basis in this place. We will try to reach the maximum possible diffusion, since the moderators turned a deaf ear when many of the actions taken were not appropriate and the other common users refuted it. This video is directed to all the staff that is in charge of the sanctions in this server. There is no one that is excluded.
You're going to die doing this. You're going to die in that stupid costume. We know that there is nothing I can say to stop.
Let's start with one of the parts of the server that has been talked about recently, the main language of the server, the English community. In the last few weeks a specific group of people, over 10 people, were banned from the server. Well, what was it that allegedly caused all these people to be banned? According to the words of the administrator, which we will talk about in depth later, the reason for the alleged ban is the following: harassment of both regular users as well as the entire mod team, and the complete top-down disregard of the mod team's actions and decisions, had we decided to carry this out. Don't be fooled, we are going to dismantle this argument part by part. Before starting, it is important to clarify that this administrator does not have the transparency nor the necessary resources to back up his claim. I will tell you right now that this user is not going to provide any specific evidence for the bans, since the real reason for these bans was that the banned people simply did not like the administrators. There were many important members for the community among those who were unjustly banned. Now, starting with the administrator's argument, he comments that there was harassment towards other users and towards the moderation team. This is a complete lie. It is impossible that all banned users were always involved in harassing someone. To say this is to cover up the reality of things. What he calls harassment towards the moderators is the fact that there are several examples of questionable things they do, things the community obviously complains about, as it is unfair. Let's just mention a few. If we have to make a part of this video, we can do it perfectly. Let's go from the least serious to the most serious. The first reason is lack of maturity. One of the requirements to be a moderator of the Skullgirls mobile server was to be of legal age. This was stated in the form, but at this point, sometimes we doubt the age of the moderators because they have extremely childish behaviors with other users. After having these attitudes, they complain that they have no respect. However, they do not respect others either. They make fun that they have the ability to abuse their power, and in some occasions, they've abused their power as such. The second reason is unnecessary sanctions. Here, apart from mentioning the completely unjustified bans that were clearly a deliberate decision, we have to mention the fact that many people have been sanctioned for the simple fact of saying burp. Yes, just like you hear it, the fact that you put the word burp in the chat is going to get you a mute. Excellent moderation. The third reason is lack of transparency. Many of you will know the content created in I-17s. For those of you who don't know him, he is a competitive Rift player. The moderators have on multiple occasions let him pass disgusting jokes about the age of characters. I can't be too specific with the proper term to describe these tasteless jokes, because if I do I get my video deleted. The screenshots speak for themselves. The point I am getting at is that any user who made these jokes would have been banned accordingly. However, this did not happen with the Nye, because his old content creator makes the moderators give him special treatment and not sanction him as they should have sanctioned him. There are many examples of people who have been banned for this type of thing, and it is obviously a reason for banning. Another example of the lack of transparency is how they ban without specific reasons or previous warnings. Reason number 4 is the lack of action when necessary. Many would argue that the fact that they are moderators does not imply that they are on the server 24/7. This would be a valid argument were it not for the fact that even when questionable things are in front of them, they are not moderated. Some examples are inappropriate images, discussions where harassment towards other users is real, or generalized toxicity. The fifth reason, the reason we consider most important, is how the moderators do not care at all about what the community thinks about the lack of moderation. There are several cases of users who ask the moderators for help in situations that merit it, and they do not care. For example, there is a case of an inappropriate drawing of Squiggly that was sent to the art channel of the server. This questionable drawing was rejected by the community and notified to almost all moderators. Most of them defended the drawing because the administrator told them to do it. They have no criteria of their own, they only behave well with those who are convenient for them in order not to lose their power. They also ban all those who bother them, because for them toxicity is only measurable when it goes against them. In conclusion, to finish counter-arguing what the administrator says, there is no transparency here, and it is not a generalized problem, it is a personal problem that the moderation team has.
I never in a million years imagined that I would be tossed off a cliff by a maniac.
For this segment, we are not going to collect evidence, as the Spanish community is so bad that any active user of the channel can give you their testimony. The Spanish channel is a channel plagued with toxicity, harassment, sexual jokes, and is one of the most horrible places on the server. We are going to focus on dedicating a few words to each moderator, but first, some general ones. You all abused your power in one instance or another. It's ironic that you are so inactive even with your position. It's a perfect definition of the saying that you are just an ornament because you are almost never present. When you do show up, you only send a couple of messages and then disappear again. When users need help, you often ignore it or handle it with just a verbal warning, which serves no purpose. You all manipulate the information a lot to justify the sanctions you do. Because of the language barrier, the language limitations allow you to sanction anyone for the stupidest reason and then make it look valid in front of an ignorant administrator, which is the only one, and as I mentioned before, we are going to talk about in depth later. Now yes, let's throw names. God Eremi, you joined the moderation team as someone who only speaks Spanish when it is required for a moderator to speak Spanish and English. You uploaded raunchy pictures about Squiggly on the official art channel on the server, and when you were asked to help stop the harassment on the Spanish channel, you completely ignored it. ZZZTIV, you are one of those who defend administrative decisions to the hilt, as if you don't know that what they do is clearly wrong. Emma, you are one of those who manipulate situations the most. You mute many times unnecessary things, and you are never respected. Maximo C, I have nothing to say about you because you are one of the most inactive moderators. You have done literally nothing, and yet you have the role of moderator. In conclusion, Spanish chat is as fucked up as English chat, and the moderators are no different than the English ones.
My mom doesn't see it. Someone is going to kill me.
Throughout this video, on the right side there have appeared the different testimonies of many former active members of the server unjustly sanctioned. There is one in particular that is very well founded. It is a Google document of more than 20 pages which I will be leaving in the description of the video so you can see it with your own eyes. This goes to all those who defend moderation. Open your eyes, things are not being done right here. Even a community member, content creator and close contact of the administrator is supporting our cause. I will leave his contribution to the video below. His name is No Connection, and I will be leaving his channel in the description as well.
Hi, I was planning to opt out of this video, remain anonymous, but I think it's best that I come out forth as well because, well, there is a lot of cleanup to do, especially with the mod team. Of course, I did grow close with some of these people that moderate the server, including the admin. But as a friend, I also gotta be brutally honest with you and give you a reality check. The server is unsatisfactory to meeting the demand of having a stable moderation. Of course, it's not inherently your fault for not running the server to its standard, because, well, nobody can be fucking perfect, of course. But at the same time, you do tend to have favoritism, especially with Denny, I'll be honest. And that's not me shit-talking the guy. He has said some unsavory things. You could check into the logs. I am not going to specify what he said, but of course, Denny, I know him too. But all in all, everybody has to hold themselves accountable in some way or in some form. Because nobody in that server knows whatever you say on the internet stays on the internet. But at the same time, we shouldn't just grab at each other's throats and just start yelling at each other and say, oh, this person was bad, ban them permanently, or this person didn't meet the job right, fire them immediately, throw them into the hangar, you know what I'm saying? No, calm your tits. Everybody has to simmer the fuck down, because if you think about it, SGM is well in the foot, about to die. And y'all are at each other's throats too. And I'm not trying to steer the topic away, like saying, "Oh, this video is about just SGM dying." No, like the moderation is horrible too. Don't get me wrong. I will summarize this very shortly. You should hold yourselves more accountable and be a little bit more respectful towards being a moderator. It has its privileges, yes. You get relics, you moderate the server, you're cool. Everyone's cool. But you can't keep letting shit slide like that. The evidence has been shown to you with that document. Of course, I've read some of it. I'm gonna keep rereading it to keep understanding it more. Because, well, I'm making this recording on the fly. But all in all, I hope this could be behind us for everyone's sake. Because, well, fucking hell, like, this is supposed to be SGM, like, that one game that doesn't fucking die apparently, but it's about to be dying if you guys keep acting as such. If you keep eating each other alive, talking shit, being toxic, not just with the people around you, but with the moderation team as well. I don't know how far it goes behind the scenes. I'll never know. But treat each other more kindly, for the love of God. And thank you, Sandro, for letting me have this recording. I greatly appreciate it. So, everyone, take care. Have a good day.
I can't do this.
This is the part of the video that we are most excited to write about. We are going to talk about the representative of the moderation team, the one who has always tried to stand up for the usual mistakes of moderators in general, the one and only Edmund Mellon. While I was finishing editing the video, I realized that there is a second document which will also be in the description and was provided by another of the users who contributed to the production of this video. This one talks more in depth about Mellon and the general mistakes he has made, which are not few. When we had the private chat with No Connection, he invited me to leave a positive message at the end of the video. Honestly, we would like to do so, however we can't, as many people have complained about the moderation and no specific actions were ever taken to improve it, which ended up with multiple unnecessary bans. Leaving aside the background info, we can talk about Mellon, who has an interview with No Connection in which he mentions his dissatisfaction with Autumn Games. We can infer that he is only administrator at this point because of the community. But it is a bit hypocritical to have that motivation since a community, despite having several complaints, was never taken into account. Mellon in a nutshell has no idea what he is doing. We did a little research about how he came to power and he was basically given away. He was a moderator of the old developers channel, the ones that had no more than 1,000 viewers. Now he pretends to manage a community of over 20,000 people. He never managed a relevant community as an admin before it shows by multiple aspects of the current server. The penalty system is not clear, there is no concise record of warnings or mutes. The only solution they could come up with to the mismanagement of the art channel was to ban posts, and even then it doesn't stay well moderated. He defends the moderators in such a way that he tries to whitewash their mistakes or make them look not so important. The moderation team has not suffered changes since it was created, and that is worrying because, as we mentioned before, there are many of them who abuse the power and are not handled correctly, and yet there they stay doing whatever they want. And yes, we are going to mention names, because all of you moderators are also responsible for not letting the administrator know when he or she is doing something wrong, and they just stay like sheep doing what their shepherd tells them. Obviously not all moderators are equally bad, but this video goes for everyone, since in one way or another they are complicit in letting things like all the things mentioned in the video happen. Esmeralda, you will make 2 full documents full of evidence about how immature you are to moderate and all the drama you incite on the server. Everyone who contributed to the creation of this video complained about you, even those outside of the situations involving problems with you. Shrumpy, Stafoxy, XCRYSTAL and Dahlia Petals, all of you as well as the administrator have defended Esmeralda's reprehensible behaviors and kept her on the moderation team out of pure favoritism. A proof of the favoritism I'm talking about is the demote of a former Spanish chat moderator named Helix, who made a user feel uncomfortable by telling him about his personal problems. He was demoted properly, that is, nobody knew him in the English community, he was just a Spanish chat mod. But Esmeralda, let her do what she wants because she is our friend and we like her. In conclusion, the official moderation of Skullgirls server is greatly affecting the community as they are not properly fulfilling its function to the point of being mediocre. If any Skullgirls developer sees this, he knows that the best option is to reform the moderation team from zero, or at least demote the members with whom more conflict is generated. A thank you to all the people who collaborated in the production of the video, and also a thank you to you user for taking the time to watch it.
I have come to make an announcement, Skullgirls. The moderation Sep's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking wife. That Sep's right, he took his moderating fucking Sep's unfair brain out, and he pissed on my fucking burp, and he said his brain was this big, and I said that Sep's disgusting. So I Sep's making a call-out post on my Google Doc.com. Skullgirls, the moderation. You Sep's got a small brain. It Sep's the size of this walnut, except way smaller. And guess what? Here Sep's what my brain looks like. That Sep's baby. Tall crevices. No smooth, no rot. Look at that. It looks like my brain is massive. He fucked my chatting. So guess what? I sit and gonna deem the mods. That Sep's right. This is what you get. My super laser doc. Except I sit not gonna deem the developers. I'm gonna go higher. I'm snitching on the CNC squad. How do you like that, Esme? I DM'd the developers, you idiot. You have 23 hours before the shit said hit the fucking server. Now get out of my fucking sight before I tattle on you too.